different. We are driving the GS right now. So you can see it's still running, but we are gonna take it down for a couple weeks, maybe a month, maybe 2 months. I hope it's not that long. But issue is we're having a little small tranny issue. It's not shifting into overdrive. I'll show you guys in a second now what it's doing. The transmission backstory, I bought a used from someone on Facebook Marketplace when we were putting the car back together, when we were building it initially. So it's not something that I'm too crazy upset about. It's just, you know, risk of buying used stuff. So that's that. So here, if you can see, it just took off. That's second gear. It's third. And I'm not sure exactly, anybody could quote me, but there's a fourth gear or an overdrive. I believe overdrive, the last gear, final gear, is the one that doesn't go in. But basically, you could be going 60, and instead of going to the overdrive, it just stays there. Like if it wants to shift, but it doesn't shift. So there might be like a stuck solenoid or something. So we're gonna pull the transmission down and take it to ATF to get it looked over or overhauled. Whatever needs to be replaced, they can expect that. So that's that. Right. So number 2. The turbo, the 6766 Gen 1, by far is the biggest disappointment I have ever had in car performance. I know I always stand up for precision, but these Gen 1s are the biggest POS, not to say, of the world. I do not recommend this turbo to anybody. Basically, within 100 miles of taking the car off the dyno, it started making like a little chipping noise, like, you know, like the blades are touching. I took out the filter and the front looks like it's fine. I'm guessing it's the back, and it's starting to smoke out the back pretty bad. So oil is getting to the seal, and it's progressively getting worse. I still occasionally drive the car like in town around because, you know, honestly, I had the car for so long. I love this car. Like, you know, it's everything I wanted comfort-wise. But I want it running right, you know, making the power. So I haven't really, like, I'm not abusing on it power-wise. I'm just driving around, you know, occasional back to the house, to the gym, groceries, whatnot. But yeah, it's gonna be taken down for a couple things. Also, the other small thing that I'm gonna do is the radiator, the aluminum radiator that I replaced it with, the eBay one. It's actually, I'm thinking it's that and the electric fans. I don't think it keeps up with the heat of the you know, being single turbo and whatnot. So I already got electric fans in the house, like kind of not the Spal fans, like not the newer version, but the older version with the Supra shroud and stuff. So I'm gonna be replacing those as well, and a thicker radiator. So that hopefully that helps out with the temperatures. If you can see here, we're climbing up now. We're at 181, but even like regular, you know, not crazy heat, it will climb up to like 200. And then cycle back down to like 192, and it tends to stay there at nighttime, you know, when it's not really hot. But during the day, if we're just stopped, you could be like, you know, just talking in a parking lot with the AC on, like the temperatures will start climbing like 210, 212, 215, and that's probably about the highest I've seen it. But I mean, it's too high. Like the Supra never gets that high. The Supra like will probably climb up to like 194, you know, at the worst condition, like 195, 200, like that I saw in like peak rush hour, you know, with the AC on full blast. That's the worst I've seen, and I like the 200 number better than 210, whatever. And this hasn't been the worst case scenario for this car. So I'm gonna upgrade the radiator and the fans, and that's pretty much it. I think it sounds like, you know, simple 3 things, but it's gonna take some time. So. Shifts fine. Right there, we're in second gear. Shift to third. Try to shift to fourth manually. Doesn't do nothing. So there's no fourth gear. Put it in manual mode. We're in first gear. Just in case anyone's thinking. So that's first, second, third, obviously the computer made that little delay, like it wants to switch, but the actual transmission doesn't switch. It's rolling where like it's still like in third gear or overdrive, if it makes sense. We'll see now. I'm gonna go on the highway so you guys can have a better idea what I'm talking about. But we'll switch it back to automatic. Alright, so right there we're going 60 RPM here. Let me get on the camera. We're doing 60 and we're at 3200 RPM. Right there, I usually kick into the overdrive gear, and it's like literally like the overdrive just off. It's not picking it up. So, like I said, we think it's a stuck solenoid, and you know, we're gonna drop it off at ATF and have them look it over. The transmission was used, so I don't know the history on it too much. So, you know, that way they can just kind of refresh anything up that it needs to be looked over. Turbo is still like a little iffy. It's doing its thing, and we're on pump, so I'm not really beating on it too hard. I was about 19 pounds. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today is actually the day after the intro. Just backed up the car in here. You guys saw in the clip. Gonna start jacking it up now and start doing the tedious task of bringing the transmission down again. You know, yeah, something I didn't want to do in such a short amount of time, because I really got the car back together probably a couple weeks, 2 months now, probably like a month and a half. And here we are again with some pretty major problems. Transmission, like I said earlier, not going into overdrive. So we're just gonna take that down, have ATF look it over, want to make sure everything's fine. Turbo 6766, guys, biggest POS in the world. Gen 1, I do not recommend this to anybody. I don't care what anybody says. This thing, it's coming off, it's going on marketplace. I am not even going to bother rebuilding it, to be honest, guys. I'm going to let this go for dirt cheap. Whoever wants it, they could deal with it. That's their headache. And that's it, guys. That's pretty much everything else. Been pretty good. Just this radiator, like I said, look how small it is. It's kind of like not even, I don't know, probably the bottom part of my thumb. That's how thick it is. So we definitely need something thicker. And if you see, obviously the stock stuff is it's pretty close to my water neck setup and stuff, so I really don't want to do away with the stuff. So I'm going to be taking the whole thing off and doing something nicer, thicker radiator, aftermarket electric spall fans. These are the fans that we're going to be upgrading to. I know I don't want to, said I was going to put it on, I don't want to forget about them. Shout out to Dan Young. He's the owner of that badass 6-speed induction built GS300. He reached out and he said that he was parting ways with this setup. I'm guessing he's gonna do something nicer. Like I always had some crazy stuff in his car, so of course I took him up on it. This is perfect for what I needed. I believe these are the first gen spall fans, or I'm not sure what you call them. I will consider first gen because I know the ones on the Super are the curved blades, and I think instead of being 5 blades, it's 6 blades. But I looked these up by part number and they should flow. I'm not exactly sure how many CFMs off the top of my head, but should be good enough. A lot better than the stock Lexus stuff. Came with the Powerhouse Racing harness kit too, so I'm going to be using all of this stuff. I'll let you know it's the either Super radiator, which is thicker, or the new Arista one that PHR came out with. So I got to reach out to them and see how that's going to work. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys the setup. got the first step done, which is raising the car. Let's see, I feel like I haven't done this in a while, but it's been a couple weeks only. Unplug the battery, then we're gonna unplug the heater core hoses here, because since they're kind of more rigid than the factory ones, I don't want to stretch them out. And we got to tilt the motor back so we can have enough clearance to get to those top bolts in the transmission, because remember, the tone on this car is tighter than the Supra. So let's carry on and keep on with the momentum. I want to get this thing done. All right, guys, so first thing we're going to start with is have the old shorts there for rags. It's draining out the fluids. I'm going to start with the transmission, and then got to take out the factory engine cover out of there, and then do the coolant. Remember, we're going to do the coolant lines back here behind the motor to flex the motor, or to tilt it back, I'm sorry. And either way, we're changing the radiator, so the coolant needs to come up. A couple things I noticed. This thing's had a little leak. It's a new gasket and a new, belly pan stiffener, or whatever ATF calls it. But I don't know if this pan was already, like dented and it just got a weird groove. So I might look into have them change out the pan on the tranny, or I think they have like a deeper version, or another version that's a little deeper for more fluid. So my upgrade to that. The other stupid thing that I should have noticed is this, the dump tube. I kind of turned it that way thinking it was going to do nothing, but look at this, it's melted the boot and the rack bushing here. Like, you can see all the rubber with the heat. It's just kind of melted away. So I'm gonna have to have this fab and maybe clear out, do like a 45 this way or something, so I have it, and obviously extended. I don't know, this came from like a CX turbo kit, so I'm not sure why they would do it like that. Yeah, everything else looks pretty fine down here. I don't see anything. I'm kind of just looking everything over. So yeah, melted boot. I'm gonna have to change out the boot now. New steering rack bushing here. As far as the tranny goes, I'm not sure if this is transmission oil or engine oil, but if it is, I guess we'll see it now and change the rear main if we have to, even though I hope not. This is drained so hard. Transmission just about drained out. It's just kind of dripping down here. Again, this looks fine. It's fresh. It's fresh ATF, so there's nothing in there. Radiators over there draining out. All right, so made a pretty big mess down here. Got the tranny lines off. What else? I got the coolant hose and took it out from up here. I don't know if you guys can see it there. It's out. So that way when I tilt the motor, it's not rigid. Just about wrapped up with the trans. Everything's loose except these two side bolts here, which I always leave for the end. They're easy to get to. So now I'm just gonna put the jack down here with a piece of I'm not even sure what that is, like a 2x8. Just try to cover as much of the pan surface as possible, and then go down from there. tranny out already. Gonna start working out on the turbo now. Taking this thing out. I already took out the oxygen sensor over here. I'm gonna take out the cover and take it out. Shouldn't be that hard, but we'll see. All right, guys. So just took out the cover on the turbo. Check out this back housing. Look how deep that groove is already. That means this thing's been eating away. That's why I've been hearing that little chipper noise. Yeah. Brand new blade. This turbo was brand new. I mean, I didn't buy it brand new from Precision, but the guy that I bought it from, I know it was just sitting on the shelf because he kind of parted out his project. Oh yeah, check out that shaft blade. Yeah, it's crazy, horrible. Big disappointment. Big disappointment. All right, guys, got the turbo off. Not as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but luckily all the bolts came off. There's a little oil leak down here under the drain. The O-ring is still stuck on the bottom of the turbo, so I'm gonna take that out. I'll probably get a new one. We're just looking over everything, got that out. See what we're still gonna do that with the turbo. Either we change it out for something new, or we rebuilt this one, but I'm probably not gonna be doing that. I'm not impressed or happy at all with that. So we'll see. We'll start looking at Facebook Marketplace or looking at the budget to see what we get. All right, guys, and you can see the car's on jack stands. We're done. It's back to its natural habitat where it's sat for like a whole year. Sad, but you know, it's part of the game. So I'm not gonna make this video extra long. I'm not gonna keep you guys guessing. I'm gonna keep you guys guessing with the turbo upgrade and stuff. So we'll go over that in the next video. Hopefully everything's back together. It should take a couple weeks. It's not gonna be you know, something that's gonna be pretty quick. I think ATF said like 2 to 3 weeks turnaround. So that's that. As far as turbo, we still don't know. I'll make sure, probably have it by the next video, so that's for sure. All right, guys, remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later, guys.